Hey there, in today's video, we are going to learn about the basics of MongoDB. Now, MongoDB is a document-based database and it is used by companies like Forbes and Toyota, and even my own venture, Coastlet.app, uses MongoDB as a backing database. So in today's video, we are going to see how to install MongoDB, how to get started with MongoDB, how to save data and perform all sorts of basic operations on MongoDB. And for that, I have published a cheat sheet on codelet.dev, and I will leave a link to that particular cheat sheet in this video's description. So make sure you check that out. I created this cheat sheet so as to help you out while doing the copy pasting and trying out the commands, which we are going to see in this video. So this cheat sheet is going to contain everything that we are going to see in today's video. So let's start with the installation part. So basically in installing MongoDB, you have three options. You can either choose the native install or the Docker based install or the cloud based option, that is MongoDB Atlas. So for this video, we are going to use MongoDB Atlas. Now it is a hosted version of MongoDB, and if you simply click on this link, you will be taken directly to MongoDB Atlas page, and from here you can click on try free. So what we are going to do here is that we are going to create a cloud hosted MongoDB server. Okay, so this way we can cut down on installing anything on our system. So we will just go ahead and sign up with the Google account and create a cluster for ourselves. So once you are logged in, you have to create a new project. Let's call it MongoDB workshop. Click next, and this is my email address, and create project. And then once this project is selected, click this build a database button and go for the free option. Okay, since I am in India, I'm choosing Mumbai as the cluster's location because that is near to me. So you can choose your server accordingly. Okay, and then the cost is free, and just simply click this create cluster. Okay, now you have to set a username and password so that you can log into your server. So for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to keep it admin, or I can just keep it codelet dev, and I will auto generate a password. I will copy it and create the user. Okay, and then I have to go to the network tab, and I have to allow access from anywhere so as to connect to this particular cluster from anywhere, because I want to connect to this cluster from my local machine. So add this thing. Now again, go back to database access. You have your user ready and you have copied your password as well. Now you need to obtain a database connection string. Okay, so before you do that, you have to do one thing, that you have to go down here and install Mongoose. So Mongoose is a MongoDB shell which you can use in order to connect to your cluster. So since I'm using Windows, I am getting to see this Windows tab. If you are using Linux or Mac OS, you will get to see these tabs selected by default. So I will go to the download center in order to download Mongo shell, and then I will click this download button. It will be downloaded, and once this is done, I can simply go here in my downloads folder, extract it, and once this is done, I will go to the bin directory, and over here I have this executable called Mongoose, right? So I will copy paste this path into a terminal. I will open the terminal here, and then Mongoose. Okay, so hopefully this will work. Now as you can see that by default it tries to connect to a local instance of a Mongo server which is running on your local machine. Since we do not have any local instance running on this machine, it simply was not able to connect to it. And now here we are going to provide a connection string after this command. So let's obtain our connection string. Go back to your cluster, click on database first, and then click here connect, and connect with MongoDB shell. And here is the Mongoose command. Go back to your terminal, write Mongoose and then this command. So it will ask for your password. Now you have to enter your password. Since I have already forgotten the password, let me reset it quickly. Edit password. Let me write something of my own which I can remember. And now let's try again. Okay, so the cluster is now connected. So in MongoDB, you do not have tables, you have collections. And in those collections, you have documents. So a collection is just like a table in a normal RDBMS database, and a document is just like a row in that particular table. Okay. So in order to see all the databases, you have this command show databases. So it will show you these two databases by default. Now we can just minimize our browser and we can maximize this thing, bump up the font. So show databases show you these two databases by default, because when you do not create a database, these two will be the default ones. Okay. So in order to create a new database, you simply use and something like your database name. So we are going to create a cheap Airbnb clone in the database. So we are going to call it my BNB. Okay. And now if you try to see databases, you will still get to see admin and local, because unless you save anything to this database, it won't be visible here. Okay. So as of now, we haven't saved anything. So in order to save something, we first have to have the data, right? So I have readied a data for you. So this is an example data. This is just like a hotel listing. So a couple of hotels are listed here, and along with their name, prices, amenities, and addresses. We are going to use this particular data for this tutorial, and you can simply copy paste this by going to this particular link. The link is in the video description. Okay, so we are going to contain this sort of data into our database. So let's go back and see how to save this data. So copy this thing, this first line, and come here and let's see how to save anything. So db dot and then the name of your collection. So our collection is going to be hotels, and then insert one, and then we are going to copy paste this stuff over here and save it. So it says that it has acknowledged and the inserted ID is this thing. So let's see db.hotels.find. This is a command to list the content of any collection. So we have this row saved into our hotels collection. Now, in order to see all the collections in a database, you can write this command show collections, and you will see the collections that are there. So as of now, we only have a hotels collection, and in case you want to see the data in the hotels collection, this is the command. Okay, so this way you can insert one row. Now let's insert many rows in a single go. So let's copy paste these rows and write db hotels and then insert. Now we have to use insert many, and here it takes an array. Now again copy paste this stuff over here and complete this array, and now it says that it has acknowledged and 4 records are created. Now again we can check our collection by doing find, and now all the records are fed into the system. So this way you can insert into your database. Now in order to drop a collection, you have this command db hotels and then drop. So this will drop this collection. It says true, which means that the operation was successful. Now if you try to do hotels.find, you will not get to see anything. Again, if you do show collection, you will not get to see anything because it is just not there. Now I am going to simply repeat the commands from history so as to recreate the collection again. Okay, now we have seen how to create a collection and how to get rid of that collection by dropping it. Let's move on. So let's suppose you want to see the entry by using a name. Let's suppose you want to see the entry called Blue Royal. How we can do that? db.hotels.find, and then here you can provide a query, and this query has this sort of form. So now here you can say Blue Royal, and you will get to see your record. Now this thing returns a collection of records, which means this returns an array. So we have gotten an array. In case you want to see only a single record, the first matching record, you can do something like find one, and in that particular case you will only get to see a particular record, not an array, as you can see here. Okay, so this way you can apply queries in order to filter out the records. Now, when we did this thing, we got to see all the columns. What if we want to, just do not print all the columns? We just want to print name and price. How can we do that? For that, we use projections. So the filtering criteria of your find command remains the same, but then you can also provide a second object, and this object will contain the projections. So we want to print name. So for name, we are going to have 1, and then price, then we are also going to have 1 for this. So this will print name and price. Now you might have noticed that it has also printed ID, because by default MongoDB creates this field for every single record, and it gets listed by default for every single output. We can leave it out by simply doing ID equals to 0. This way it will skip it. And now we have seen that we have only received the 2 properties we were interested in. We can also use something like pretty in order to prettify the output. Okay, it is not working. It may work on find. Let's see. Okay, so it will work on find but not find one. Okay, so this way you can prettify your output as well. In this case, it is not resulting in a significant difference, but in case your data is quite complex, this prettifying thing can help you out in prettifying your data. Now, if we do hotels.find, we'll get to see like all of these records. What if we want to limit these records by like only give me first 2 rows or only give me first 3 rows, something like that? We can easily do that using the limit clause db.hotels, then find and limit by 1 only. So you will only get to see the first record from the matching criteria. Here the matching criteria is nothing, which means that everything is matched. So we are only getting to see the first record. If the limit is going to be 2, we are going to see the first 2 records. Similarly, we can also sort these entries. So let's sort by pricing. So db.hotels.find, again everything is matched, and then sort by price, and for the ascending order we do price 1, and this is the ascending order. So price 150 is at the very top and price 650 is at the very bottom, because it is going in an low to high fashion. Now if we reverse this thing by doing -1 here, we will get to see that the most expensive hotels are listed at the top. Okay, so this way you can sort your records. Now in case you want to count the document, you can also do that. So let's suppose we do something like db.hotels, and then we can do count document. This will give you the number of documents that are there in a collection. Now let's move on to some advanced queries. Let's try to list hotels that are under $400 per night. So for this, we have to write something like db hotels find, and then the price is going to be, so first of all you have to create this sort of a structure, and here we are going to use a operator known as $LT. So this $LT is the less than operator. So now we can give the price, so 400. Okay, and press enter. Now you will get to see all the hotels that are under $400 per night. So all of these operators, if you scroll down in this particular document, are listed in the link that is mentioned over here. So you can see what all operators are there. So we have equal to, greater than, and equal, and then in, then less than, and less than, equal, then not equal, then not in. So we have all such operators at our disposal, which we can readily use in order to frame some sophisticated queries. So let's go back to our terminal and let's try some other queries as well. So let's suppose we want to only list hotels that are in Mumbai. In order to do that, we do something like hotels and then find and then address dot city. Since this is a nested field, it requires this sort of notation. So your top field, then a dot, and then the nested field, and everything surrounded by quotes, and then the selection criteria, that is Mumbai. And now we have got all the hotels that are there in Mumbai. Let's try to filter out by amenities. So DB hotels find and amenities, and then we only want to get all the hotels that have TV and geysers. So in order to do that, we can again first of all create this particular structure and then use the all operator, and this all operator takes an array, and here we can do TV and geyser. So this way we are telling MongoDB that give me all the hotels that have all of these matching entries in the amenities column. So TV and geyser should be there in the amenities column for the matching records. So now we have gotten two records, and both of these records have TV and geyser listed in their amenities. Okay, you can also club multiple criterias, like this is one criteria, and again we can have the pricing criteria that price should be greater than 200. So let's see, here we have gotten the matching entry because the price is greater than 200 and the amenities include TV and geyser. So this way you can also use more than one criteria to filter out the records. So there is more to it. In order to explore more, you have to go through this document and see what all you can do with the find query. Let's move on to updating records. Let's suppose I want to change the price of this Blue Royal hotel. How I can do that? db.hotels and then update. Then first of all, it will take the matching criteria. So the matching criteria is name, which is Blue Royal, and that is going to be the only matching criteria. And then we have to do something like $set. Okay, and then we have to complete the structure, and inside this we have to write price equals to 250 because that's what we are trying to update. So this way we can update the pricing. It says that match count is 1 and modified count is 1, which means that one record was matched and I have updated that record. Now let's see, db.hotels.find name Blue Royal. So our pricing has been updated. Now you can also add some non-existing properties to an object as well. So db.hotels.update, again the filtering criteria. This time let's do on IBIS luxury hotel, and we are going to set our country to it. Then we will do something like address.country. Now this is a non-existing field. As of now this country field does not exist, but we are going to create it using the update command and then close it. I have done some typo, so I haven't closed it, and then it says that it hasn't matched anything, which means this IBIS luxuries was not matched. db.hotels.update1. So this is the command to update a single record. Now the name is going to be IBIS luxuries, and then we are trying to set a new property, and the property is going to be address.country, and the country is India, and it says that one record was matched and modified count was also 1. So I might have been doing something wrong, or there was some typo. That was the reason it was not succeeding. So in order to update a single record, you can do something like that. And let's see that listing now. Hotels and then find name, and the name is IBIS luxuries. Okay, so the country has been updated. Now in order to add a new entry to this thing, we can use yet another operator. Now The operator for update command are also listed down here. I think I have forgotten to put a list here. I will put a link here so that you will get to see what all operators are available for update. So one such operator is add to set, which we are going to use in order to add one more entry to this particular amenities list. So db hotels and then update one. Again, the criteria is going to be name, luxuries, and the operator is add to set, and then we are going to use the column name amenities, and we are trying to add spa to it. So this will add this thing. Now if you again try to list down the entry, you will get to see that spa is listed in the amenities of this particular hotel. Similarly, in case you want to remove something from the amenities, you can do that by using the pull operator. So pull basically pulls from an array. So this thing is an array, and this pull will pull from this thing. And again, we are trying to pull the spa amenity, and it says that it matched one and modified one. Now let's see. So spa is gone now. You can also unset a property. So we have set this property earlier. Now we want to unset this thing. How we can do that? So in order to unset, you have to use the same syntax, but instead of writing pull, we have to do unset, and we have to change this thing. So unset will take the property name, which is address.country in our case, and then the value should be empty, and this will unset this property. So let's see. So the country was there earlier and now it is gone. So this way you can use these operators in order to update your data accordingly. Now there is one more thing when it comes to MongoDB update, and that is known as upserting. So upserting is a phenomena where if you do not have a matching entry in your database, MongoDB will go ahead and create it. Let's try to update an entry which is not there. So hotels.update one and do something like name is Gloria Paradise. Now this particular hotel is not there in our database, and let's try to set some properties to it. The price is 350 and the amenities include only TV. Okay, so let's do it. So it says that it matched no record and it did nothing, and it also says that upserted count is 0. In order to instruct MongoDB that in case you do not find anything matching, just simply create that record, you have to use the upsert clause. How we can do that? So it takes a third object, and this object has one property called upsert, and the value should be true. This way, if you do this, if this Gloria Paradise is not found in the database, it will be created. So the resulting properties will be name and then price and the amenities. Let's see. So it says that it match count 0, which means that it did not match anything, but it actually upserted a record, which means that it has created this record because it was not found. So let's see. db.hotels.count documents. It clearly says that the document number is now 6, which means that one record has been created. Let's see the listing. db hotels.find, and now this Gloria Paradise is in our database. So this way you can create new records in case the records were not there. Now let's come to the last part. We have seen the insertion, the querying, the updation. Now it's the time to see the deletes. So in order to delete a record, we have to use db hotels and then the delete one method. So this delete one is very similar to find one, update one. It takes a query. So let's delete Gloria Paradise, which we have just added Paradise, and it says that acknowledge is true and deleted count is 1, which means that this particular criteria was matched with the record and it has been deleted. Now in order to delete multiple records, you have to use db.hotels.delete many. So this will delete many records in one go. So let's delete all the hotels that are there in New Delhi. So the selection criteria is going to be address.city and the value is going to be New Delhi. Let's see how many hotels do we have for New Delhi. So we have Paris Night and Citrus Hotel. After running this command, these two entries should be gone from our database. So run this thing. It says that that deleted count is true, which is in line with what we noticed. And let's see the records, and now we cannot see anything from New Delhi. Okay, now what if we want to delete everything from a collection? For this you can simply do db.hotels and delete many and give it the empty criteria, and this will delete everything. So it has deleted 3 records. Now your collection is basically empty. And if you do show collections, it will be there, but it will not be having any entries. So this brings us to the conclusion of our small MongoDB tutorial. Everything that we have learned today is listed in this particular cheat sheet. So make sure you check this cheat sheet out, or maybe you want to bookmark this thing. And for more such videos, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, because that will really motivate me to produce more such stuff. And subscribe to Codelet's YouTube channel, because I am going to upload more such awesome stuff on this channel so as to help you level up your technical skills. I see you over in the next video.